Welcome to the interview show. This is Scott Wood, your host. Right now, I am in the tour van of a band called The Pains of Being Pure at Heart, which is the best name for an indie band ever. I have the lead singer here with me in the van. I'd love it if you could introduce yourself.
Hey, Scott. My name's Kip. I'm the lead singer of The Pains of Being Pure at Heart.
The best name for an indie band ever.
What he said.
Thank you very much, Kip, for being on my show.
Well, thank you very much. I'm glad to be here in Vancouver with you. In the van. In the Pains van, which is filled with candy on the floor and water bottles strewn about. So we're wild and crazy guys.
More water bottles strewn about than I've ever seen in any tour van.
You know, you gotta hydrate.
Do you know what? I think we should probably play some music by a band called The Pains of Being Pure at Heart.
Wow, that's really nice of you. Thank you. Hey, my name is Kip from The Pains of Being Pure at Heart, and you're listening to The Interview Show with Scott Wood. Hey, this is Kip from The Pains of Being Pure at Heart. You're listening to The Interview Show with Scott Wood.
Welcome back to The Interview Show. This is Scott Wood, your host. You just heard Simple and Sure. That's off a record called Days of Abandon by The Pains of Being Pure at Heart. I'm talking to Kip from the band. I'd love it if you could say a few words about this song.
Well, I really love this song because I think much of this new record has a real melancholy to it. It's very sad. It deals with loss and being alone. But this song is sort of the complete opposite. It's a celebration of love and feeling certain. And you know, sometimes people confuse complexity with depth, and I think that's a pretty amateur you can do something simple and do it well, and I think that's more important than acting like you're so complicated and tortured as an artist, because I think that's usually BS.
Kip, from Pains of Being Pure at Heart, you are a diehard music nerd. I'd love you to give me an example of how much of a music nerd you are.
Oh, God. I mean, I think this is always funny when people ask me, oh, so you're a guy that really likes music, because I think everyone in bands does. Or else, did you start a band? It's not just for the sour gummy bears that aren't sour, right?
Let's be a bit honest, though. Some people start bands for getting attention from females.
Well, I mean, that's a pretty heteronormative outlook on life, but yeah, it's true. I like attention from anyone, really. But what is my music? Well, I ordered a record today on tour by a band from Gothenburg, Sweden, called Macht Haverskan. And they sound super scary, and you'd think they're just going to burn down churches and, like stab infants. But they're not like that. They're actually high-intensity, super emotional indie pop. And it's loud and it's fast, but it's really heartfelt. And, it was on white vinyl, and there was only 300 of them, and I didn't want to risk it by waiting till tour was over to see if it was going to be in the shop. So I just ordered it on my computer today.
Now I'm going to flip it around. I'm going to ask you to extol the virtues of a song that might cause you to lose your Music Nerd membership card.
Oh, my God. I'd be happy to lose my Music Nerd membership card. I don't know. I think that new Katy Perry song, Roar, is really good. I think in a sense, like, I always think of our music as pop music, and, it'd be great if we could write a song that, people would just hear and instantly feel like, yeah, that song's for me. I like that song, and so yeah, I think there's a lot of cool mainstream music out there, and I don't think it makes you any less of a music lover to appreciate it. Also, oh wait a second, okay, and this is like so played out, but I know it's like so old, but every time I hear that Lana Del Rey video game song, it's like so good still, and I don't know, I'm really glad that she survived the backlash and now is a fantastic big pop star.
Kip, I would love it if you could explain your love of puns. But before you answer that question, let people know why I'm asking you this question.
I think I have a mild form of Tourette's, or something that compels me to say just bad puns constantly. And I don't think I'm being funny, and I realize I'm probably annoying the people that I'm around. But yeah, I guess I say puns an awful lot of times. I know it's the lowest form of humor, and it's grating. But what was the question again? Why I say puns all the time? Well, I do, and I have to live with that, I suppose. It's my crutch to bear, cross to bear.
Is it a cross to bear?
I don't know. I don't think everyone really enjoys it as much as I do. I mean, to me, it's like, if it weren't for wordplay, I wouldn't get any play. Hey, this is Kip from The Pains of Being Pure at Heart. You're listening to The Interview Show with Scott Wood. Hey, my name is Kip from The Pains of Being Pure at Heart, and you're listening to The Interview Show with Scott Wood.
Welcome back to The Interview Show. This is Scott Wood, your host. You just heard Young Adult Friction. That's off the first self-titled record by a band called The Pains of Being Pure at Heart. I've got Kip from the band here with me. That's him drinking out of a water bottle. You can hear it. Glug, 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 glug. And I'd love it, Kip, if you could talk about this track, because it's, one of your oldest. This one of the songs that sort of made a lot of people love your band.
Oh, yeah, this song's about having sex in the library. That's about what it's about. I could talk for more words and say other things about it, but it's really just library sex.
Did you do it doggy style?
I would say that I might have taken some artistic liberties in this song. It might have been a locked bathroom in the basement of the library. It wasn't quite so back to the spines. Clever as all that. So I'm a bit of a poser, I suppose.
I think it's hilarious that you decided to go that direction with explaining the song, because back in this era, some music reviewers described the music of this era as a ballsy ownership of your own twee-pop wimpiness. That made me crack up when I read it. But since we're talking about the new music more today, I wanted to ask you, what ballsy ownership are you taking today?
Oh my goodness. Ballsy ownership. I would say that this album is pretty confident in how not ballsy it is. It's pretty much like, hey, we're not gonna rock that hard. Sorry.
When you read that quote, did you laugh?
I'm actually just hearing it now. What was it? It was that we took ballsy ownership in our own wimpiness?
Yes, your own twee wimpiness.
I know. I mean, people say what they want. I feel like there was like something where a magazine spent like an entire like page of real estate once, like trying to describe how limp my genitals were as a way to write about our music. I think it's cool that anyone spends a lot of time thinking about my balls or ballsiness or wimpiness or any of that stuff. I guess it's all true.
At this point in the show, I wanted to play another older track. I'm probably not going to have time to play the whole thing, but I wanted to play a bit of Heart in Your Heartbreak. That's off the second record, Belong, by The Pains of Being Pure at Heart, and maybe you can talk a bit about it as I play it. This was sort of your hard rock record, if you could say that about The Pains of Being Pure at Heart.
Yeah, I mean, this record was pretty rockin'. This song isn't quite as rockin' as the others, but I don't know. It's a song about like feeling really sad and then realizing how ridiculous it is that you feel sad and that whatever you're feeling sad about might not have been an ideal situation in the first place. It's sort of overly emotional, and then realizing how ridiculous living constantly in that posture can be.
So let's listen to the song for a little bit, and then we'll come back, and maybe you could talk a little bit about music, songwriting, craft, just a little bit.
Cool. Oh yeah, I'm talking about songwriting and craft now. Okay, so this is what you do, is you barely learn how to play a guitar, and then you can like put chords in different order. Like first learn like a bunch of Nirvana songs, and then put the Nirvana chords in different order for a while. And then
someone's knocking at the tour van.
Sorry. Hey, my name is Kip from The Pains of Being Pure at Heart, and you're listening to The Interview Show with Scott Wood. Yeah.
Had a thin air when I would
Hey, my name is Kip from The Pains of Being Pure at Heart, and you're listening to The Interview Show with Scott Wood.
Welcome back to The Interview Show. This is Scott Wood, your host. You just heard Eurydice by a band called The Pains of Being Pure at Heart off their record, Days of Abandon. I've got Kip from the band here with me. All right, Kip from Pains of Being Pure at Heart. I've read that you're a big fan of the Smashing Pumpkins. So, for people who don't know, can you quickly describe what or who they are?
Oh, they were a rock band in the 1990s that always felt like they weren't as cool as Nirvana, but they were cool in their own way. And they wrote a bunch of songs with big, heavy guitars that were on modern rock radio every 8 seconds. And their lead singer was named Billy Corgan, and their guitarist was named James Iha, and their bassist was Darcy, and Jimmy Chamberlain was their drummer. And they were from Chicago, and they rocked.
Can you tell me what you liked about their record, Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness?
I just don't think it was long enough. I felt like they could have gone for another, a couple discs on there. Why'd they stop? I mean, sunrise to sunset. What about, mid-afternoon to, after dinner time, don't call me? No, I think they were a really magnificent band because grunge was all about trying to make things as ugly as possible, and it was so cool to make things dirty and not shave and make things abrasive and I hate you dad kind of stuff. And the Pumpkins were abrasive and definitely had a lot of grit to their music, but I felt like at some level they were just like a 70s glam rock band. There was something that was just really indulgent and given to beauty in a lot of their songs, and they brought in the string sections, and they had these really epic guitar solos, and they were really kind of masquerading as an alternative band, but what they really were was just a big arena rock and roll band. And I thought in that era there wasn't a lot of other people that would actually let that happen. I think Weezer was another that kind of wasn't afraid to be soft.
So, the reason I brought up that album is because that's the Smashing Pumpkins' third record, and right now, Pains of Being Pure at Heart has just released their third record, Days of Abandon.
Oh, compare and contrast. Well, I think we did the opposite as the Pumpkins did, and I think it was a cautionary tale. As amazing as Melancholy is, we kind of thought that trap of trying to do each thing huger than the thing before, eventually it creates a sort of hollowness or just an empty feeling to the music.
So hold up, let's dial back a second. If we're going to talk generally, because I'm not comparing you to the Smashing Pumpkins, because you guys are two radically different bands, but at that point in time, they were on their third record, you're on your third record. In general, where should a band be in terms of their profession at their third record? What skills and abilities should they have developed?
Well, I can only speak for myself, but I've been, I think I decided, this record I'm going to try to sing in tune a little bit. I thought that would be a cool new trick to bust out. But yeah, what should bands be able to do? They should be able to, change their guitar strings. They should be able to not be passed out, too dysfunctional to play their songs. Yeah, they should. I don't know. They should realize that no one's going to care about them in a couple years and kind of make the best album they can in that moment. Because it's who really talks about a band's fifth record? No matter how good they are, usually people have kind of moved on by then. So there's a sort of standing at the cliff of life feeling on your third record, and you kind of want to make it good, because you might not get to make one again.
Kip from Pains of Being Pure at Heart, I appreciate you so much for coming on my show. The last song is chosen by the guest, so I would love you to pick one of your own songs and talk a bit about it before I bring it up.
I think one of the songs I feel most proud of this record is probably one of the most small songs, and it's Art Smock. And it's really just me and acoustic guitar and voice. And we haven't really ever done a song like that before, and people tried to dissuade me from putting it on the album. They definitely didn't want it to go on first of the album. The record label was very dead set against that. But I stood up for myself because I really feel it it really kind of captures the mood of the album. It sets the tone for it in really the right way. The last album was so full of bombast and look at how many guitars we can record at once, and this album it's ambitious in a different way. It's more inward looking, and it's more sedate in many parts. And I think the song Art Smock is powerful without having to step on the distortion pedal, at least to me. And I don't think I could have written a song like that last album or the first album. And it doesn't. Maybe people think it's a lot more terrible. And it's like, oh man, I liked it better when they just like rocked for 10 songs in a row. But to me, it really hits home. And I've gone through a lot in the last three years, and I think it sort of captures that feeling the right way.
Thank you. So we're going to listen to Art Smock by a band called The Pains of Being Pure at Heart off their record, Days of Abandon. Thank you very much, Kip, for being on my show.
Well, thank you very much. I'm glad to be here in Vancouver with you. Hey, my name is Kip from The Pains of Being Pure at Heart, and you're listening to The Interview Show with Scott Wood.
Wanna know what happened to you? Liked it better in your Art Smock, mocking art rock without intention, without design. You said you'd never be fine with being fine or mine, so we went out to see your favorite band. Left when we saw they were bone and skin and 77. And I wanted to be something like you and nothing like that. What you wanted, I never knew. It was a mess, but so are you. Should've guessed it was gonna fall to pieces in my hands again. Broken where I stand again. I never learned this lesson right, but I want you here. You learned to mingle with the well-bred crowd, straighten your hair and forgot all about torn jeans and sweaters from the lost and found. Dropped some pounds and the people that you used to hang around. What you wanted, I never knew. It was a mess, but you turned so cruel. Should've guessed it was gonna fall to pieces in my hand again. Broken where I stand again. I never get this lesson right. When you spend the night, it just felt right.